Tim Bennett here from the Cortland Voice, and I'm here with Cayuga Health's Liz Bordoni. She's an FNP, which is a family nurse practitioner. Liz, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So before we go in to hear about the amazing things that you do with Cayuga Health, we want to hear about you. Tell us about you, maybe like your hometown or about this amazing dog that I hear you have named Max, tell us about you.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm local. So I grew up in Ithaca, went to high school here. After high school, I went to TC3 for my nursing degree, um, and then went on to get my bachelor's at Chamberlain College and my master's at Samford University, which is actually in Alabama. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's in kindergarten. And I live in the area. I'm a really avid runner, so I'm a long distance runner for the half marathon, and I just love outdoor sports in general, rock climbing, hiking, skiing, things like that.
Now, what about Max?
And then I have a very large Weimaraner. And he should be around here somewhere. I think he just ran outside to chase some squirrels and play in the snow a little bit. But
Okay. So he's on yard security, but once he's back from yard security, there's a chance he may pop up during the interview.
That's right. Yeah, he's doing his surveillance, making sure everything's okay outside, and he may pop back in a little while.
Awesome. So I know that you work at the Cayuga Center for Healthy Living. Tell us what that is.
Sure. So the Cayuga Center for Healthy Living is located in the Island Health and Fitness building in downtown Ithaca. And we are a multidisciplinary team made up of nurse practitioners, physicians, surgeons, registered dietitians, health coaches, nurses. And together we provide a number of services for our patients. We have, here he is now. Was coming in to say hi.
It's okay.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, Max.
So together we help people. I guess the best way I could sum it up is we help people to live healthier lives through and manage and prevent chronic disease through behavioral change. So we work with people one-on-one to identify their health and wellness goals, and then to help them to achieve those goals.
Okay. Now, with your experience in training, how have you made your impact on whether it be your coworkers or patients that may come to see you at, the Cayuga Center, like with your different trainings? Because I know you're FNP, family nurse practitioner, but you also had other certifications and things like that. Maybe, do you want to maybe break down what some of those are and the role you're playing?
Absolutely. So my basic training is as a family nurse practitioner. So just as a general nurse practitioner. I have additional training specific to my role at Cayuga Center for Healthy Living. So I'm a certified bariatric nurse, which basically means that I have a lot of experience working with the patients who are going to have bariatric surgery or have had bariatric surgery. And I've essentially just sat for a test that says, yes, you've proved expertise in this area. And I also am a certified specialist in obesity and weight management. So I've had, additional training specific to obesity treatment. I have taken courses on mind-body medicine. So I have some additional training in that area as well.
Okay. Now, when does someone need to consider maybe being supervised for or medically supervised for weight loss? I know that some, like you said, you're an avid runner. Some do that for the love of it. Some do that, to lose weight. How does one know, okay, maybe I shouldn't be a runner, or maybe I shouldn't play a sport or treadmill, elliptical, or whatever. Maybe I've done what I can. I need help, I need to medically come see you and those at, Allen Fitness?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And what I would tell you is that, so my first answer is like, well, no one needs to, right? So it's a choice. With that said, I think a lot of people that could benefit don't seek out this type of help because there's this false belief that, well, I should be able to do this on my own, right? And the truth is that obesity is a chronic disease and it's complex, and it's no different from any other chronic disease, like high blood pressure, for example. So if you have high blood pressure and you come in and you see me, we might go over some lifestyle changes you could make, right? If you were at your primary care office and you were seeing me, that is. But I wouldn't expect you to just manage your high blood pressure all by yourself without any help, right? So you would see me regularly. We would talk about some things that you might be able to do with your diet and exercise, and then most likely your doctor would write for a medication. So obesity really isn't any different. If you are a person who is affected by obesity, there are certainly some things that people can do on their own. And then it can really be helpful to have a professional to support you through that process and give you some guidance.
Okay. So I like that. Basically, you'd meet with the professional and then you set up, okay, what are your goals? Here's some objectives to reach those goals and expectations and a timeline period. I like that. Are there any other options that people may have at your center?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean,
And that's for weight loss. Sorry about that.
For weight loss. Yeah. So the cornerstone of treatment is absolutely behavioral change, right? So we always start with behavioral change, and behavioral change goes throughout the entire process. We don't ever really get away from that. In addition, when appropriate, we prescribe medication. So we have medications that can help to augment the behavioral change. There is meal replacement, and then we also offer bariatric surgery.
Okay. So being that we're in 2022, almost 2023, what are some of the newer things that you do at your center? Are there any new services that you may provide, or new trends, or new medicines? What's new? That's what I should ask. What's new?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned new medicine, and I mean, that's probably the best place to start. Most people, I think, have probably seen in the news by now that we have a new medication for weight management called Wegovy, and you might have seen that on the news or in media. It's been all over this year. So we do have a new medication, and that's really, I would say that's really big this year because we only have about a handful of medications. So if there's a new one that's on the market, that's really helpful. So that was something big that happened within the last year. Telemedicine is a huge part of our practice now since 2020. And so being able to offer those visits has been wonderful. It makes it easier for people to participate in the frequent follow-up that is so helpful to this type of care. And then also, we're getting up into the time of year where it snows a lot. And so, if it's a terrible snowstorm and you can just meet with someone on your computer instead of that person having to travel all the way to the office to see me, that makes it a lot easier for them. So that's been big.
You save on gas.
You save on gas, yeah. Save on time, right? So I'm in Ithaca, you're in Cortland.
Just log right on.
You got it. Yeah. So I think that's been a big change to our practice. The surgeons are doing many of their surgeries robotically, and that was a change in the operative procedure for sure. And then not really within the last year, but within the last 5 years, we've been consistently using body composition analysis. So that's basically, not just looking at your weight in terms of, okay, what's the number on the scale, but how many pounds of muscle do you have on your body? What percent body fat? And that can give us more information as we're kind of tailoring what recommendations we might have in terms of your nutrition.
I love it. So if John or Jane or Joan Doe wants to come and see you and your staff at the center, do they need a referral? Like, do they need to see their primary care physician first, or urgent care, or can they just, say, hey, I saw this interview, set me up with Liz and the staff? Like,
Yeah,
how can they come see you?
You can just give us a call and set up an appointment. So we do take self-referrals. What we'll often do is, if you refer yourself to see us, we'll just request that we can call your primary care provider and just ask for your most recent set of lab work and maybe your last office visit, just so that we have some medical background. But you don't necessarily need to have that provider send a referral.
Okay. And now we're at the end of the interview, where we give you the opportunity to say, your final reflection or final piece, your final message to the greater community, who follow us and check on news. They want to hear from Liz.
They want to hear from me.
Your moment.
I think if there's just one message that I would want to communicate about what we do and about obesity as a chronic disease, is that it is a chronic disease, and we can help, and it can be a positive experience. So often people who are affected by obesity face stigma in the healthcare system, as well as in their day-to-day life, and there's just this pervasive and false idea that, obesity is something that should only be managed by the individual, and it's somehow their fault if they're still struggling with it. And that can be a really big barrier to people seeking care, not only for obesity treatment, but healthcare in general. So what I would say is that, if there's one thing people take away from this, it's that obesity is a chronic disease. It's complicated, and it's not something that people should have to manage on their own. Not any different from any other medical condition. So, if you're somebody who's struggling and you've been hesitant to ask for help, or you didn't even know there was help, come down and see us. We're really nice. We're going to make it a positive experience. Our office is beautiful. And, we'll hopefully help you to reach your goals in a way that makes sense for you.
That's amazing. And if they're doing telehealth, and if you're home, they might even see Max.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Liz, thank you for joining us today. And for everyone watching, thank you for choosing the Cortland Voice.